Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Making news overnight, a man loses his leg in a crash on San Antonio's southwest side overnight. We have details on his condition.
And in Florida, details are unfolding about a partial collapse of a large building just north of Miami Beach. We'll have the updates coming up.
Down to about 78 degrees, and again, tons and tons of humidity over south central Texas. We're standing by for an update from Mike Osterhage. Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday. It is June 24th, and Sarah Costa is along for the ride for the rest of the week. And it's good to see you this morning. You and I have been catching up since before the show started.
Always a pleasure to be with you gentlemen this morning. But it's even warm in the studio. I feel like the humidity just seeping into the building.
We just turned the thermostat down a tad because we don't want it to be quite as humid in here. Mike Jones is now with more on our Thursday forecast. One day closer to the weekend.
True, and last weekend of June.
Yes.
It's going to go out in style, at least the first half of the weekend. You know, and it seems like when you talked about the heat seeping into the building, that seems like the case in your house sometimes too. It just, the air conditioning is working even harder. Hopefully it gets a little bit of a break going into next week. So got to get through the next couple of days. First of all, today is pretty much just a repeat carbon copy of yesterday. Temperatures are roughly the same, mid-upper 70s around here. Dew point temperatures are the same as what they were, mid-70s, which means there's a whole bunch of humidity when you walk outside, as we were talking about. So we do have heat index readings getting up into the low 80s in a lot of locations. And mold is on the high side. It definitely went up yesterday. The updated count comes out about 7 o'clock this morning, of course, and later on today, going to be right around mid-90s. But once again, with the humidity, add roughly 10 degrees to that. Also, it is going to be on the breezy side. Wind's going to be picking up a little bit later on this afternoon and then also going into this evening. We'll do it again tomorrow. We'll do it again on Saturday. Then we start to see some subtle changes, and that's going to lead to, like I said, hopefully a little bit of a break for the air conditioners and maybe a bit of a workout for your umbrella, at least to have it handy. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Sarah, Mark.
Thanks, Mike. Well, new overnight, Miami Beach authorities are responding to a partial building collapse at a 12-story condominium in South Side. More than 80 Miami-Dade rescue and fire units have responded to the scene. According to the address given by Miami Beach Fire and Rescue, the building is known as the Champlain Tower South. There's no word on what caused the partial collapse or if anyone is injured or trapped in the rubble.
We'll continue to track that developing story out of the Miami metro area. New this morning back here at home, San Antonio police say a man is recovering after losing his leg in a crash last night. It happened around 9:30 in the 8200 block of Great Spirit Drive, which is on the southwest side near Old Pearsall Road. SAPD says it happened when a driver going east on Great Spirit plowed into another car while the victim was standing outside of it. Police say the crash severed the victim's leg. He was taken to the hospital in stable condition. Meanwhile, SAPD says the driver of the vehicle may have been driving too fast right before that crash and could be facing an intoxication manslaughter charge. In Washington this morning, senators on both sides of the aisle touting an agreement on the framework of a bipartisan infrastructure plan. They say the agreement was reached last night by White House officials and 10 senators. Senators plan to meet with President Biden at the White House later today to talk more about it. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said they would try to move the infrastructure package in July. The total cost of the plan, $1.2 trillion over 8 years. Meanwhile, Democrats working on another plan with a much bigger price tag that could also be considered by lawmakers.
With the CDC's moratorium on eviction set to expire soon, the Biden administration is expected to order an extension to the end of July. According to the National Low-Income Housing Coalition, 6 million American families are behind on rent and at risk of being homeless this summer, facing the possibility of mass evictions. The White House wants to buy more time to get federal rent relief money to the tenants who need it. The funding can also save some mom-and-pop landlords who are on the brink of bankruptcy due to months of lost rent payments. If the Biden administration acts as expected, it will mark the 4th time the deadline for lifting the ban on evictions has been pushed back.
In Florida, a manhunt is underway after a Daytona Beach police officer was shot in the head last night. Police say the officer radioed in that he was investigating a suspicious incident. When he stopped responding on his radio, more officers were dispatched to the scene and they found him on the ground with the gunshot wound. The officer was hospitalized and the police chief says he is in grave condition. More than 500 officers from various agencies are now looking for the suspect, who's considered armed and dangerous. Police say the suspect is 29-year-old Othal Wallace. There's a $100,000 reward for information leading to his capture. School and free speech. The Supreme Court has ruled in favor of a cheerleader who had been punished for a vulgar message she sent in a Snapchat while off campus.
ABC's Terry Moran has details on the ruling.
At the Supreme Court, a cheerleader's disappointment has become a landmark First Amendment ruling.
I think this is the most significant decision for young people's free speech rights in the past 50 years.
By a vote of 8-1, the justices ruled that a Pennsylvania school district violated Brandy Levy's First Amendment rights when it suspended her from the junior varsity cheerleading squad. The news came as a surprise to Brandy.
I went on Twitter and it said breaking news, and I read it and I was like, oh my God. And then I was yelling.
In 2017, Brandy was just 14 years old, a high school freshman, when she took to Snapchat after she failed to make the varsity cheerleading squad.
I was angry, and I made a post on Snap. I said it was F school, F cheer, F softball, F everything.
The coach of the cheerleading squad found out about the message, which Brandy had posted off campus online on a weekend, and the school suspended her from cheerleading for an entire year, saying she breached a code of conduct.
They told me that I'm lucky I didn't get expelled from school for it, because it was vulgar language.
With help from the ACLU, Brandy and her father sued the school in federal court for violating Brandy's freedom of speech, and they won. The school district then appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court, and today the district says it's satisfied with the high court's decision because the justices said some off-campus online student speech could be regulated, just not Brandy's. Terry Moran, ABC News.
436, about 78 degrees.
We'll still ahead, one of the best tools you can have in the kitchen is a good set of knives. We're checking out the ones that work the best.
Up next, we're getting our first look at the new NBA Olympic team that will once again be coached by San Antonio's Greg Popovich.
78 degrees at 4:37 this morning. It is hot and muggy out there. Mike will have our forecast for later today and through the weekend when we come back.
Just about 4:40, time for a look at morning sports. Another byproduct of the Spurs organization getting his shot as head coach in the NBA. Ime Udoka has been hired by the Boston Celtics as their new head coach. That's according to the Associated Press. Udoka spent 7 years on staff with Greg Popovich here in San Antonio, including the 2013-14 season when they got back to the NBA Finals and won their final of 5 NBA titles the Silver and Black have been able to secure so far. After a stint with the Spurs and an NBA championship ring, Udoka joined the 76ers staff in 2019. This past season, he was on the Brooklyn Nets staff. He replaces Brad Stevens, who moved up to the Celtics moved up in the front office. The roster is set for the U.S. men's basketball team. The Spurs head coach Greg Popovich will lead in Tokyo this summer. Unfortunately, it does not include any Spurs after Derek White had injured his ankle last April against the Washington Wizards and missed the rest of the season. It also does not include James Harden, now has had to withdraw because of a hamstring injury. It does include Nets teammate Kevin Durant, who will go for his 3rd gold medal, is now the only returning member of the 2016 squad that won gold at the Rio Olympics. But as you can see, there are plenty of other names to help Pop get his first Olympics as head coach of Team USA out of the way successfully. It was a frustrating night up in Frisco for the San Antonio Missions baseball team. After leading 8-3 in the 8th, the Missions bullpen allowed 7 runs in the final 2 innings. Game ended in a Rough Rider walk-off victory. Final score 10-9. They've now lost 7 of the last 8 games they've played against Frisco this season. And that's a look at sports.
Thank you, Mark. It's 4:41 and 78 degrees.
Still ahead, having a sharp knife while preparing food can make all the difference in the world. Up next, a DIY approach to keeping your kitchen tools sharp.
Plus, Britney Spears has her day in court. We'll find out what happened next. Welcome back. Britney Spears spoke in court for the first time, asking a judge to end the conservatorship with her father, saying she's been exploited. ABC's Kaylee Hartung has the details in today's GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, breaking her silence. Britney Spears standing up for herself in an explosive court hearing Wednesday, passionately telling a court she's been exploited, embarrassed, and demoralized by the people behind the conservatorship that's controlled her life and finances for the last 13 years, asking that it be terminated. The 39-year-old pleading with a judge, saying, "I just want my life back." She could be heard pounding her fists as she told the judge all she hears from her team is no, 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 saying she feels ganged up on, bullied, left out and alone. "I am tired of feeling alone. I deserve to have the same rights as anyone." So what could Spears' testimony mean for the future of her conservatorship? And what happens next? Legal analyst Dan Abrams weighs in live, coming up at 7 a.m. With your GMA First Look, I'm Kaylee Hartung, ABC News, Los Angeles.
If your kitchen knives haven't been sharpened in several months or maybe even years, you're probably working way harder than necessary on making your meals.
Here's 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz with the tools you need to keep your knives slicing and dicing for years.
Harper Keene is pretty sharp when it comes to knives. He owns a mobile business and says if you want your knives to last, sharpen them at least twice a year.
I mean, obviously I'm biased and I would say take it to your local knife sharpener. But actually, no, I think go for it. It can be fun. It can be satisfying. Just start with a knife that you don't care about very much.
To do it yourself, you have a lot of options.
For an occasional cook, a handheld knife sharpener like this one is a fast, easy, and inexpensive way to sharpen your knives.
Pull-through sharpeners typically cost between $5 and $50.
Start right at the base of the knife near its bolster in this case, and pull all the way through to the tip of the knife. Once you've made a few passes on the coarse setting, you want to progress over to the finer setting to polish the edge.
There are also sharpening stones or whetstones, but they require more skill. Before you invest,
a $12 two-sided stone from your local hardware store rather than hundreds of dollars worth of equipment. Because while it can be fun, it can also be kind of frustrating. It can take a very long time.
If you don't care about honing your sharpening skills, an electric countertop sharpener is a great option for serious at-home cooks.
Consumer Reports says look for the newer models with a flexible belt and guide to keep your knife at the right angle. As for the honing rod that comes with sets, the pros say that's a maintenance tool, not a sharpener. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
I just figured we'd give our knives to Mike. He likes to make sparks in his garage anyway.
Oh my God, the sound of the sharpening is the ugh.
Yes.
I can't stand it. Also, is kind of the weather, Mike.
Yes, Mike kind of saunders over to his area here. I think you're, okay, he's good. And cue Mike Oster.
Well, I see Steven
Good morning,
over there,
sunshine.
I keep thinking that we're going to traffic, first of all, but it's only 4:30, so
okay.
Sorry about that. I was just
I think he's waiting for an opportunity to update us about a stalled trailer. That's coming up.
Okay. You want to say something anyway? Just hi? So anyway, I was going to try and do something with weather and sharp knives. Anyway, it's not working, but beautiful sunset yesterday over there in Seguin, setting in the corn. Great picture. Sunrise this morning is probably going to be not that great because it looks like it did the past couple of days. We've got a lot of humidity out there, a lot of our low morning clouds. The dew point temperatures are, for the most part, about the same, maybe down a couple of notches from yesterday, but pretty much the same weather pattern sitting on top of us, and what that's going to then translate to our heat index readings later on this afternoon, well up into the hundreds. Once again, not quite up to heat advisory levels, but it's going to be hot enough out there, so obviously you just want to kind of take it easy. Here's a computer model, and yesterday we had that one or two little sprinkly showers that popped up in the morning hours. Don't be surprised if one or two may pop up. There's nothing on radar right now, nothing forecast, just because there is so much moisture coming on in here. This model does have one or two showers off to the east. Yeah, it's a possibility, but as far as any rain chances, it's not even really in the forecast. And again, that's just because of the excess moisture coming on in here. We'll have morning clouds again tomorrow after some sunshine later on this afternoon. It's that same 24-hour cycle that we are going to be going through. Nothing showing up on, like I said, satellite or radar as of right now. And around the country, a lot out to the west of us as far as just some scattered rain, that huge trough way out there to the west. And it's the high that's sitting on top of us that is kind of keeping things at bay as far as any rain chances. Here's what it looks like a little bit longer range into the future. And the nice thing is long range forecast is still about the same as what it has been the past couple of days, which means it's encouraging as far as some rain chances going into next week. Nothing the rest of the week or going into Saturday. Then on Sunday, and again, I always have to kind of qualify this, it's kind of that broad brush forecast model, but there will be a few showers, maybe a thunderstorm primarily off to the east. One or two could work their way a little bit further to the west, but then we'll have slightly better rain chances on Monday and then also going into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. And that's going to help to keep temperatures down as well. So we'll only be about 90 or so once we get into next week to finish off the month of June. That's where we're going to be today at noon. Partly cloudy skies, 90 degrees, then a high temperature today makes it up to 95, but it'll feel like it's well up into the hundreds. It's also going to be breezy later on this afternoon, and it's going to be a little bit on the breezy side tomorrow as well. Again, same weather, just kind of cut and paste the next couple of days, and then we'll start to see those subtle changes coming in here. Sunday, 1 or 2 showers, mainly to the east, and then lower temperatures and better rain chances first half of next week.
I guess you literally cut and paste each of these. It simplifies things, right?
And these two.
These two. Okay, cool. All
I
right.
wish that computer worked that way, but you got
it doesn't, does it? Nope. It's never going to be that simple. Thank you, Mike. About 4:50, 78 degrees.
Well, a message in a bottle finds its way home, plus details on a tip a server could only dream of. We'll have those stories next.
But first, your lottery numbers: pick 3, 898, Fireball 3. Daily 4 numbers: 1978, Fireball 9.
Cash 5, 19, 24, 27, 33, 35. Texas Lotto 5, 18, 23, 31, 35, 41. And Powerball 13, 20, 40, 51, 63, Powerball 1, Power Play 3.
A diver finds a nearly century-old long-lost message in a bottle. Then she found who it was addressed to.
CNN's Jeremy Roth has a story.
A fantastical tale as old as time, a mysterious message found in a bottle buried at sea. But does it really happen? In Sheboygan, Michigan, it did. Local diver and boat tour business owner Jennifer Dowker found a 95-year-old message in a bottle in the waters near the county marina.
I spotted that green bottle on the top of a fish bed, so I reached down and grabbed it, and noticed there was paper in it.
Dated November of 1926, the message contained a name and return instructions, and after sharing it on Facebook, Dowker found the owner's daughter.
It was a total shock, but knowing my dad, and his birthday was in November, and it wouldn't surprise me if he just did that on his birthday.
She decided to let Dowker keep the keepsake as a tribute to her late father.
It'll make my dad live on if I give it to Jen.
Speaking of take-home treasures, a waitstaff at a New Hampshire restaurant got an unexpected surprise when an anonymous customer left a staggering $16,000 tip on a meal order worth less than $40. The restaurant's owner said the server couldn't believe her eyes.
She's like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" And he's like, "I want you to have it. You guys work hard."
The owner says the uber generous tip will be shared amongst all the employees. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
I love those kinds of stories, but having been in food service, when I was younger, I was a waiter in several restaurants. I always wondered if the credit card companies would balk at that, like somebody was
like, "Oh, this is no way.
This can't be right," or somebody wrote it in for the customer, the card holder. So I wonder if they balk at that.
I'm sure they do, but also, like, it was really nice. They split it with all the servers.
That's great. I assume maybe they check with the card holder, and card holder can say, "Not a problem. That's what I meant to write."
I'm sure they do.
Not too many zeros there. 4:56, about 78 degrees.
Well, still ahead on GMSA, federal officials are now looking into rare side effects from some COVID-19 vaccines that are mostly seen among teenagers and young adults.
Plus, dating in 2021. Forget Tinder. Netflix has a new show featuring people wearing animal costumes. We'll get a closer look at sexy beasts coming up in Tech Bites.
All right, on GMSA at 6. I just really wanted Mark to say sexy beast. All right, our Tejano Moments series continues. This morning, we're taking a look at some of the heroes who fought and died for Texas freedom.
And let's check TransGuide real quick, see how things are going. There is what Stephen wanted us to pass along to you. We've got a trailer, a lonely trailer sitting at a really bad spot right there in the median between a ramp and the main lanes at 281 and Sprucewood. More on the location coming up here on GMSA.
Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
A CDC panel uncovers a likely association between the vaccine and some rare cases of heart inflammation. I'm Mike Ajachi reporting in Washington. Coming up, why doctors are still urging people to get the shot.
78 degrees at 5 a.m. this morning. It is muggy and yucky out there. Mike will have our forecast for Thursday and Friday, and also maybe some potential rain later in the week.
Good morning, everybody. That's right. It is Thursday. It is June 24th on our calendars.
I'm so happy to be here and filling in for Steph for the rest of the week. And, it's just that you walk outside and you're hit with this nasty soupiness out there.
Hey, they moved Fiesta for a reason, Mike, and we're not used to this anymore.
Yeah, although I still contend it has been every bit as hot sometimes in April in Fiesta. I know a few years back we had that break there for a while, but yeah, it is pretty warm in the afternoon. Folks, heading out to Niles, it's still going to feel like it's well up into the low hundreds when things get underway in the evening hours. Right now we're at 78. That dew point bottom number there is sitting at 74, which means yep, you walk outside and you want to turn around and go back inside. 95 for a high temperature later on today. Of course, add roughly 10 degrees to that, and that's what it will feel like later on this afternoon. The aquifer dropped down 1/10 of a foot on yesterday's reading, and the allergens mold is on the high side. It did really go up. Got a lot of our low morning clouds hanging around here right now, and then we'll see a bit more sunshine as we go on in through the day. So we've got warm, humid conditions, maybe a shower down there along the coast. That's a possibility. Again, the heat index about 105 later on today, and then tomorrow about the same situation. It's going to be staying hot tomorrow and then on into Saturday. Then we go into Sunday and we'll start to see, well, at least not quite as hot. We'll drop down a couple of notches here and there. We'll take anything we can get, and we'll start to see 1 or 2 showers on Sunday, especially off to the east, and then better rain chances coming in here by the first to even middle part of next week, and some lower temperatures. Hopefully the air conditioners get a little bit of a break. That would be nice on our electric bills. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen Cavazos. Good morning, sir. What's going on?
Hey, good morning, Mike. Well, we got a big old trailer, lonesome trailer, as Mark said, on a very heavily traveled route here in San Antonio. US 281 at Sprucewood is a view from TransGuide. Take a look right there. It looks like it's right in the median between the 281 and the exit ramp there to Sprucewood. Now, while it's not causing any issues right now, this is something that our early morning commuters are going to want to be extra cautious of if they're heading down 281. Let's go ahead and jump to our maps right now. As you can see, it's not impacting anyone's travel time at this moment, but it's in the 281 northbound lanes, again, right at Sprucewood. So just be cautious before you're heading out the door. We do have that trailer out there that we want you to be extra aware of. So jumping over here to another incident that happened overnight, this rollover crash that happened at Medical Drive and Floyd Curl Drive. Now, this crash has since cleared, but we want to go ahead and bring you to some video that we were able to get from that scene when it happened. Now, according to a sergeant that we spoke to, a woman was driving home when she fell asleep at the wheel. That's when she jumped the median and rolled her car, and that's when it caught fire. Now, she was able to get out safely, and firefighters were quickly able to get that fire out, and that woman was assessed by officers. Thankfully, she was checked at the scene. They don't suspect that there was any drunk driving here, but of course, that crash did obviously cause some delays in the Medical Drive areas. So thankfully, no other injuries or no injuries reported. But let's go ahead and bring you to some delays that we are spotting right now. This one over here off I-35 northbound at FM 1103, what we typically see during this time of the day as construction is set to wrap up over there. It's causing a little bit of a delay for our drivers heading out to the New Braunfels area. But if you are coming in from New Braunfels from San Antonio to the downtown San Antonio area, I should say, we're looking at 26 minutes on I-35. Coming in from Bulverde, we got 26 minutes as well, and coming in from Bernie on I-10, we got 25 minutes. And we're bringing you to where that construction there marks there, that traffic continues to build, but we're hoping construction wraps up soon.
Thank you, Stephen. This morning, a CDC panel is revealing a likely association between the COVID-19 vaccine and some rare cases of heart inflammation.
As ABC's Ike Ajachi reports, some health experts say you should get a vaccine anyway.
This morning, 34-year-old Colina Anderson of Springfield, Missouri, with a warning about the coronavirus.
This is not a fun disease. It's not something to take lightly.
She's been battling COVID for the past 10 days inside one of the many Missouri hospitals currently surging with new COVID patients.
The people who still think it's like the flu, it's not. Oh boy, is it not.
The more contagious Delta variant is now in at least 48 states, making up nearly half of all infections across parts of the West and Midwest. This morning, a cluster of 17 new cases of the Delta variant found in a Nevada town. The cases are people all under 60 and unvaccinated.
We've been seeing much younger patients needing management within the hospital, some as young as their late teens, in their 20s, and their 30s, and unfortunately, all of those unvaccinated and very sick.
34% of adults ages 18 to 24 have been vaccinated, the same group that's currently exhibiting one of the highest rates of infection. And now, a new report from the CDC panel finding a likely association between the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines and a rare, mostly mild heart inflammation in younger people. Out of more than 26 million doses given to young people, the CDC confirming 323 cases of the condition after getting a vaccine, mostly in males. Still, experts say the benefits of getting the shot far outweigh the risks.
Getting COVID is far more risky than having the vaccine because the heart failure that we see long-term from COVID infection can be more severe.
A CDC working group found there isn't enough evidence yet to recommend booster shots right now, but that could change as more data emerges. Ike Ajachi, ABC News, Washington.
In local news, here the latest. Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar has fired one of his lieutenants who posted multiple photos on Facebook showing her at the U.S. Capitol during the deadly January 6th insurrection. 46-year-old Roxanne Mathai was given an order of dismissal 5 months after the sheriff said he intended to never have her set foot in a BCSO building again. An attorney for Mathai said he would release a statement regarding her termination later today. Pictured in a red, white, and blue mask and draped in a President Donald Trump flag, Mathai posted photos throughout that day. In the photos, Mathai was shown walking and says she was headed to the Capitol after listening to President Trump deliver a speech during the Save America March. Mathai also posted a picture showing rioters after they'd broken through a police line and occupied the balcony of the Capitol building. You can read more on this story, including our initial defenders investigation, right now on KSAT.com.
Well, Veteran Centered Project, which would be unique to San Antonio, is getting closer to reality. The Valor Club is set to be a mixed-use veteran living, entertainment, and rehabilitation center for the construction at the former Pecan Valley Golf Course. The entire master plan encompasses more than 200 acres of property worth over $200 million. It's been in the works for several years. The first phase of the project is the construction of 324 units, estimated over $58 million. The design looks to be ready by the end of the year, with hope that construction can begin next summer. The units will include 1 to 4 bedroom apartments. About 227 of the Phase 1 units will be eligible for Section 8 and Veterans Affairs supportive housing.
We've looked at designing these units so that they're reasonably priced for rent. So, from 40 to 70% of the area's median income is what we're trying to meet.
The San Antonio Housing Trust Partnership ensures the project will have a property tax exemption. The project will need to obtain a reservation of bonds from the Texas Bond Review Board to apply for low-income housing tax credits. The goal is to serve veterans, but the units will also be available for anyone who qualifies.
5:08, about 78 degrees.
Well, Amazon's Prime Day is breaking sales records. We'll tell you how much everyone bought over the past few days.
Up next, why the dream of home ownership is becoming more difficult than ever before.
5:08, 78 degrees out there. It's warm and muggy. How hot will it get later today, and what will our weekend look like? Mike will let us know when we come back.
The American dream of owning a home is growing increasingly difficult to obtain. A new report shows home prices in the U.S. have climbed to unprecedented levels.
And as CNN's Mandy Gaither reports, with very few homes on the market, the competition is making home ownership out of reach for some people.
Home prices in the U.S. skyrocketing to new historic highs, keeping potential buyers on the sidelines.
We have not seen an increase this strong in our history of the data set that does go back to the 1960s.
According to a report from the National Association of Realtors, the median existing home price in May a little over $350,000. That's up 24% from last May and the highest price on record.
The really concerning part about this home buying market is that we are leaving a lot of people behind. We see nearly a quarter of all transactions are all cash right now. Those are wealthy buyers.
Low inventory is driving up the prices, coupled with huge demand, keeping some people out of the market. While inventory rose slightly in May from the month before, it's still down 21% from a year ago.
We have had more than a decade of underbuilding. We know that people didn't feel comfortable selling last year, and so they stayed in their home.
Competition for those few pricey homes on the market is strong, with homes selling in 17 days in May, down from 26 days a year ago.
What we're leaving behind are first-time home buyers, which are at historic lows. We're leaving behind minority buyers who would like to enter the market.
Homeowners may soon catch a break. The National Association of Realtors says more inventory is coming into the market as people get vaccinated and feel safe listing their home and new home construction increases. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
5:13, still about 78 degrees.
Well, still ahead, Netflix is showing off a trailer for a new dating show featuring people wearing animal costumes. We'll have a preview next.
I mean, what's wrong with that, right?
All right.
Would you watch a movie about Pop-Tarts? Has Hollywood run out of ideas? We'll find out coming up.
Your mission: stand up to moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis and take it on with Rinvoq. Rinvoq, a once-daily pill, can dramatically improve symptoms. Rinvoq helps tame pain, stiffness, swelling, and for some, Rinvoq can even significantly reduce RA fatigue. That's Rinvoq relief. With RA, your overactive immune system attacks your joints. Rinvoq regulates it to help stop the attack.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious infections and blood clots, sometimes fatal, have occurred, as have certain cancers, including lymphoma, and tears in the stomach or intestines, and changes in lab results. Your doctor should monitor your blood work. Tell your doctor about any infections, and if you are or may become pregnant while taking Rinvoq.
Take on RA. Talk to your rheumatologist about Rinvoq relief. Rinvoq, make it your mission. If you can't afford your medicine, AbbVie may be able to help.
5:17, welcome back. We want to get you to a still developing story. We are still following this. You're looking live right now where Miami Beach authorities are responding to a partial building collapse at a 12-story condominium in Surfside. It looks like the reporter's about to do a live report there, but more than 80 Miami-Dade fire and rescue units have responded to the scene. According to the address given by Miami Beach Fire and Rescue, the building is known as Champlain Towers South. No word on what caused the partial collapse or if anyone is trapped under the rubble. We will keep you updated. Well, I think we're moving on to our next story here. Amazon's Prime Day shopping event has once again set company records, selling more items than ever before.
ABC's Mona Karzar Abdi has the details in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, Amazon's Prime Day results. The company says more than 250 million items were sold Monday and Tuesday. Amazon's Fire TV stick was the most popular item, but small businesses also thrived. Amazon says consumers bought nearly $2 billion in products from them. iPhone users are now able to share tweets directly to Instagram stories without having to take a screenshot. Twitter's newly enabled feature is simple. Users can tap on any tweet, then hit share, then tap on Instagram stories. And Netflix is releasing a dating show called Sexy Beasts. Contestants will be disguised in full Hollywood makeup prosthetics, hoping to find love based on personality, not looks. A featured single will choose one of 3 potential matches, but they'll only see that person's face after making their pick. And those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
I mean,
Which one would you pick? I like the weird alien one.
I don't know. Definitely not the scarecrow.
Or the devil. No, not the devil one either. Those are pretty terrifying.
Yeah, but I mean, you imagine texting your friends, I really liked her beak.
Yeah. The scarecrow look was
That's crazy.
great.
All right. Stephen Cavazos is here with an update on a couple of situations right now. What's the latest? Oh, boy.
Yeah. And just throwing my 2 cents, I'd like to be a fox.
Would you?
Ooh.
Yeah, maybe if I get a little older and I'm single, I'd be a silver fox. Right? There you go.
There you go.
You know what? But we do have good progress here. We're going to change the topic back to traffic here for a moment, not my personal life. Hey. But we are having seen things that are moving, but they're moving quite slowly here. We do have construction that is wrapping up for our friends over in 35 North, right at FM 42 is a view from TransGuide. But take a look right here at the map. We're still seeing a little bit of those residual effects there, 21 miles per hour. So it is moving quite slowly, though, again. But it should be wrapping up very quickly. Now, we did have this another situation that's happening right right over here off 281 northbound, right at Sprucewood Lane. We showed you a little bit earlier. There's an abandoned trailer right in the median between 281 and the ramp. So just be careful out there because from the looks of TransGuide, that trailer has not moved. So we're going to go ahead and jump over to a rollover crash. It happened a little bit earlier this morning. This crash has since cleared. It was off Medical Drive and Floyd Curl Drive. One woman was sent to the hospital was not sent to the hospital, thankfully, but Sergeant on the scene did tell us she fell asleep at the wheel, and thankfully there were no injuries to report, and it did not impact anybody's in commute time this morning. As you can see, it's pretty clear right now around the Alamo City and our outlying areas. I'm going to go ahead and jump the shot here to our TransGuide, where we do have that abandoned trailer right at 281 at Sprucewood. Looking pretty lonely, but be careful, guys.
Steven, did you say at a future date you wanted to be a silver fox? Is that what you said?
I mean, that's a goal, right?
That's the goal, right?
That's the goal.
For everyone's goal.
Silver fox.
That he's actually
we bring
about
in
that.
current silver fox Mike Osterhage.
That was supposed to be my pitch over there.
Only few get the hair like that. Anyway.
You're like, and I've had this since I was...
Yeah.
Looks good.
Anyway, but it's funny looking back at like wedding pictures, 24 years ago.
Yeah.
No gray. Anyway. 400 years ago. Thank you, Director Robert. Yeah, appreciate that. We need a sunrise, but yes, that would be a good one. Some of those beautiful sunrises out there. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture. And lots of clouds this morning starting off. We do have fairly dry air upstairs in the atmosphere. And so what that means is once we get, some of these clouds break up, we are going to have a lot of sunshine later on today. We're holding at 78 degrees right now. The normal average low temperature is 74. And that's been very consistent the past couple of days, about 4 or 5 degrees above normal. And that's pretty much the case all around the area, although no 80s on the map right now. However, factor this in, 77 for Dew Point, Castroville, and both Castroville and Stinson. So heat index right now, 84 Castroville, 83 Helotes and Canyon Lake, and 81 down the road at Stinson. And we're really not going to be seeing any huge breaks in the humidity anytime soon. Dew points will stay up there in the low 70s in the afternoons and upper 60s all the way through into next week. However, the difference is going to be in the afternoon high temperatures with more cloud cover going into next week. So here's long-range computer model. Not much going on today. If there's a little bit of mist around this morning, kind of like yesterday, just because of all the humidity getting pumped on in here, don't be surprised by it. There was that 1 or 2 lone little showers yesterday morning. Nothing is showing up on radar as of right now. And same thing tomorrow, same thing on Saturday. Then Sunday, a few disturbances come on in here with a little bit more cloud cover, so temperatures get knocked down a couple of degrees. And this is not raining constantly, but just the chance for a couple of showers, a couple of thunderstorms, primarily off to the east. Better chance of rain on Monday, as well as going into Tuesday, as well as going into Wednesday. Here's the deal. This thing is sitting right on top of us, which is the usual case in the summertime with that high just plunked down, pushing down in the atmosphere, putting the lid on any sort of shower thunderstorm developing. Now, as we go in toward the weekend, that's going to kind of scooch off to the west a little bit more, and that will open up the door for some of these little disturbances around here. It's not as though there's any big storm systems moving in, but the other thing that's kind of adding to it is the fact that this big trough is here. That'll help to kind of knock temperatures down. Again, that combined with some of the cloud cover, and then again, those rain chances that move on in here by the middle part of next week. So it's an encouraging forecast to finish up the month of June. 90 at noon today, partly cloudy skies, 95 high temperature. Of course, it'll feel closer to 105, well up into the hundreds in a lot of places for the heat index, and also going to be on the breezy side. Wind's going to be out of the southeast, about 15, 25 miles per hour. Same thing tomorrow, same thing Saturday. Sunday, maybe a shower or two off to the east later on in the afternoon, and then better rain chances first half of next week. I
appreciate you adding the heat index to that one graphic. There are people that are new to San Antonio or maybe visiting and just not aware of what they're walking into today.
It's pretty much how efficiently or inefficiently your body can cool itself, because there's nowhere for the perspiration to go into the atmosphere.
Just lots of water, sunscreen, hat. Be careful out there.
Yep. Thank you, Mike. Right now, 524, still 78 degrees.
Well, still ahead in your morning spotlight, Disney is making a movie based on one of its most popular theme park rides, plus details on Harrison Ford getting injured in a rehearsal.
Our next story demonstrates either that Hollywood has run out of ideas or that anything can be a movie.
Pretty much. Here's CNN's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
Disney is developing a Tower of Terror movie based on its popular theme park attraction. Black Widow star Scarlett Johansson is reportedly on board as a producer. No word if she'll star in the film as well. Meanwhile, Jerry Seinfeld is set to star in and direct Unfrosted, a Pop-Tarts origin story. Seinfeld also co-wrote and will produce the Netflix film, inspired by one of his stand-up routines.
I'm just watching Rose eat potato chips. It's my favorite thing.
Rose Byrne opted for a different snack during interviews for Peter Rabbit 2: The Runaway. Maybe she didn't have any carrots around, though she definitely relates to rabbits.
Well, I had rabbits growing up when I was little, so I loved rabbits. I used to have I had a few pet rabbits. And then, so to revisit that in my adulthood in this film was really kind of special. It was like totally tapped into my childhood experience and perspective in that way.
The perils of being a 78-year-old action star. Harrison Ford has injured his shoulder while rehearsing a fight scene for the 5th Indiana Jones movie. A Disney spokesperson says production will continue as they see what treatment Ford needs, and the filming schedule will be adjusted as necessary. The movie is due out July 29th, 2022. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
We've been chatting about that here on GMSA. Apparently, the title of that one's going to be Indiana Jones and the Empire of Evil. Apparently, he's fighting the Nazis again.
Look at him. Those injuries.
528, about 78 degrees.
Today is shaping up to be a big day in D.C. for President Biden. We'll take a look at why his infrastructure and policing proposals are so important over the next 24 hours.
And ahead on GMSA at 6, we're getting right ahead behind the kitchen door. We're talking about some perfect restaurant scores on recent health inspections.
The divisions of the moment shouldn't stop us from doing the right thing for the future.
Policing and infrastructure take center stage in Washington, D.C. today as lawmakers make deals on key legislation from President Joe Biden.
78 degrees at 5:31 this morning. It is warm and muggy out there. What will our Thursday and Friday look like? Mike will let us know in just a bit. Good morning.
It's Thursday, June 24th. Good to have you here, Sarah.
Oh, always a pleasure to be here. Happy Practice Friday. I think we're anxious for the weekend. But
we are.
But Mike, is it going to be like the super hot pattern throughout the weekend?
Throughout at least the first part of the weekend, we get a little bit of a break on Sunday, and that will then continue that little bit of break going into next week. But for today and the next couple of days, it's going to be just like it was yesterday and the previous couple of days. We are starting off with our morning clouds out there, and temperatures upper 70s, dew point 74, just about the same numbers. A little bit of a breeze out of the south. The difference today being it is going to be breezier later on this afternoon. Once we get rid of some of these low morning clouds, we do have relatively dry air upstairs in the atmosphere. This really dark shade would be almost bone dry air. But we're going to have a lot of sunshine later on today mixed in with some of these clouds. We'll see a few more popping up as the day rolls on. Mold is on the high side from yesterday's count, and throughout the rest of today, same temperature profile, 90 at noon, 95 high temperature with the heat index about 105. Like I said, it is going to be breezy and probably stay a little on the breezy side going into this evening, and we'll only be down to about 90 by 9 o'clock. So right in the middle there, about low 90s, say 7 o'clock. If you're heading out to Niles tonight, it's still going to be pretty hot out there. So lots of water, and even more. Weekend forecast, last weekend of June already. It's coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen Cavazos. Any big problems out there?
No, just a big trailer, Mike. We got one here off 281 at Sprucewood. We've been talking about it all morning. It's been there for a little while now. Just take a look. While it's not looking like it's impacting anybody's commute right now, this is right between the Highway 281 and also the exit ramp there towards Sprucewood. You can see that that car just driving right by. Want to be extra cautious because we're not sure when that's going to get picked up, but it's been there for quite a while. We do want to go ahead and jump to a problem that did happen a little bit earlier this morning. A rollover crash right off Medical Drive and Floyd Curl Drive. Now that has since cleared, but we want to bring your attention to some video from the scene. Now, a San Antonio police sergeant does tell us that a woman had fallen asleep at the wheel when she crashed and jumped the median. That's when the vehicle caught fire. Thankfully, she was able to get out of that vehicle safely with no injuries. Now, San Antonio police do believe that she had just fallen asleep at the wheel and that there was no suspicion of drinking while driving. So again, no other injuries to report, and thankfully that woman is safe. But let's go ahead and jump back here to our map maps and show you where we are still spotting a little bit of delays here off I-35 northbound right at FM 1103. As we showed you earlier, traffic was slowing down because of some construction going on those northbound lanes, but that has since cleared, but the traffic is still pretty slow right now. So just be careful on your way out if you're going to New Braunfels, but if you're coming in right now on 35, things look pretty good. 25 minutes right now is the inbound time. So let's go ahead and jump to Livonia. 22 minutes on 87 and 28 minutes on 37 if you're coming in from Floresville, 29 from Seguin as well. So things looking pretty good so far. Just this trailer is the big problem right now, and we're hoping that it gets picked up pretty soon. Mark, Sarah?
Thank you, Stephen. We're keeping an eye on a partial building collapse going on right now in Florida. According to a tweet from Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, the collapse in a Miami area neighborhood has caused a massive response from the department. The tweet said over 80 units are on the scene with assistance from municipal fire departments. The department has not yet said what may have caused the collapse. Photos and video from the scene show the collapse affected about half of the tower. Piles of rubble and debris surrounded the area just outside the building. There were no immediate reports of injuries or casualties.
We will continue to monitor that story out of the Miami metro area. Today shaping up to be a big day in D.C. for President Joe Biden's agenda. On the table, two of his major bipartisan priorities, infrastructure and policing legislation.
And as CNN's Britt Conroy reports, the next 24 hours could be crucial.
Deal-making in D.C. with infrastructure and policing front and center.
The divisions of the moment shouldn't stop us from doing the right thing for the future.
But the division remains, and the countdown is on. The Senate is getting ready to start a 2-week recess. With infrastructure, we're talking improvement to roads, bridges, water systems, technology, climate-related measures, manufacturing, research and development, and the caregiving economy, and how to pay for it all. But senators on both sides of the aisle say there's an agreement on a bipartisan deal. And today at the White House, they're expected to talk about it with the president. But will it be enough? Depends on who you ask.
My sense is that that deal right now has 20 votes, not 60 votes. We're going to have to take a deep dive into the agreement.
Last week, I heard from a lot of my colleagues saying, I just need to look at one other issue. You know, can you do this? Can you do that? But there's a lot of interest in having a bipartisan proposal.
Same goes for police reform, but that hasn't been easy either, with debate over the standard for charging police officers with crimes and qualified immunity, so police officers can be sued in civil court. A lead senator on the negotiations says today may be a make-or-break day. All told, it could be a make-or-break day for Biden. Britt Conway, KSAT 12 News.
John McAfee, the eccentric antivirus software pioneer, has been found dead in a Spanish jail cell. He was found on Tuesday, only hours after a court ruled to extradite him back to the U.S. from Barcelona. It's believed he committed suicide while in prison. McAfee was indicted on fraud and money laundering charges by the U.S. Justice Department. The department alleges he and a business partner participated in a scheme that earned more than $13 million by falsely promoting cryptocurrency to unwitting investors. McAfee was 75.
Well, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos isn't going to be pleased with this next story. A lot of people want him to remain off of planet Earth permanently when he blasts off into space next month. According to Newsweek, petitions to keep the tech mogul in space have garnered more than 100,000 signatures. Bezos and his brother Mark are set to travel into space on July 20th with Bezos' private rocket company Blue Origin. Blue Origin announced that it had a third passenger after a vacant seat sold at auction for $28 million.
538, still hanging in there at about 78 degrees.
Still ahead, new details that show why the life expectancy of Americans is consistently going down.
And up next, first look at a new mega casino set to be the first on the Las Vegas Strip to open in more than a decade.
78 degrees, 538 this morning. Mike will let us know how hot it will get over the next 2 days and have our weekend forecast for us when we come back.
Now the Las Vegas Strip. Today, a massive new resort opens.
And it's just in time for the summer travel rush. ABC's Andrea Fujii has more.
This morning, a new addition to the Las Vegas Strip, hoping to cash in on the post-pandemic travel surge. Resorts World Las Vegas opens tonight, the first hotel casino to open on the Strip in more than a decade.
They're going to bring a nice influx of people. Brand new pools, brand new nightclubs. I think there's 40 restaurants in there.
Developed by a group from Malaysia, it's 3 hotels in one, costing more than $4 billion to build. Sitting on the site formerly home to the Stardust Hotel, it features more than 3,500 rooms operated by Hilton and a 5,000-seat concert venue with big names already booked, including Katy Perry, Luke Bryan, Celine Dion, and Carrie Underwood. In addition to the 40 restaurants and bars, there are 7 unique pools, including an infinity pool with views of the Strip and a 27,000-square-foot spa. Lighting it all up, the largest in the world LED display covering 100,000 square feet. Sin City shut down early in the pandemic, but now with most COVID rules lifted, tourists are flocking back.
I think it's going to be pretty crazy coming up. It's going to be a lot of traffic.
A recent study found nearly a quarter of all Americans now rank Las Vegas at the top of their vacation destination list. Vegas is hoping for big business this 4th of July. Miley Cyrus is set to perform at Resorts World, and the concert will be shown on the casino's LED screen for the entire Strip to see. Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
It's 5:43 and 78 degrees.
Up next, want or need a new pet? We have the perfect one waiting for you on the other side of this break.
Our favorite time of the week, it is puppy time, and Michelle is here from the Animal Defense League, and you said just a sweet little old man.
Yes, so this is Cowboy. Cowboy is a 10-year-old Maltese mix. He's been with us for a little over a month, and oh my gosh, he's the sweetest thing in the entire world. I love him so much. He's definitely a calmer guy. He's older, seasoned, just kind of wants to be on the couch with you.
But when they were coming in the front door of the station, he's just like, okay, let's go, let's go.
He's still got some spark, don't get me wrong. Yeah.
And he's got the softest fur, by the way. I mean, I know you just bathed him, but yeah, he's really soft.
Yes, absolutely. He would be great in any home, honestly, but definitely I think a calmer environment. But we had him in our dog park yesterday, and he had little spurts of energy where he would have little zoomies. It was adorable.
And the nice thing with the older dogs, too, what you see is what you get. His size, everything, his personality.
Exactly. So. He's definitely a lap dog, too. He doesn't mind being held. So, yes, he's a great little guy. We love him.
What you got going on?
So, at the Animal Defense League right now, we're actually running a Fiesta adoption special, kind of a play on words for Fiesta. So, with that, all of our pets that are 6 months and older are going to have a waived adoption fee with a monetary donation to help our medical program. And that goes until Sunday the 27th.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
so anybody 6 months?
Including Cowboy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a great deal. So if you want to head on out there, they got plenty of dogs and cats, and look for, don't forget the older ones.
Don't forget the older ones.
Ignore them, because there's a waived adoption fee. So if you'd like to head on out there, 11300 Nacogdoches or 655-1481 is the number to call. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
One Your Morning Consumer headlines, a new study finds life expectancy in the U.S. lags behind other high-income nations by an average of nearly 5 years. In 2018, life expectancy in the U.S. was 78.7 years. That's about 3 years less than the average life expectancy for 16 high-income peer countries. But the life expectancy gap ballooned to nearly 5 years in 2020 after the U.S. experienced a particularly high mortality rate. No other nation experienced a decline in life expectancy as large as the U.S. Authors of the study wrote the predominant cause for the large decline was the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as other factors that have impacted Americans' health for decades.
Instagram expanding its in-app shopping by offering users a more immersive experience. The company testing virtual try-ons using augmented reality. Users can get a feel for how products like makeup or shoes will look without having to leave the comfort of the app. Instagram also adding visual searches. Just tap an image of a dress you like and see similar products. Eventually, Instagram wants people to be able to search using a photo from their own camera, testing for some of the features. Start later this year.
So far, coffee prices from Nespresso aren't rising despite a sharp hike in the price for coffee beans. The brand is still waiting for demand from offices to rebound. Executives say they don't expect that to happen till sometime next year.
5:48, time to check traffic.
Definitely the coffee this morning heading out into traffic. Steve.
Always going to have that cup of coffee with you when you are heading out on the roadways. But, you know, things are looking pretty quiet right now. We did have a crash that happened here off Loop 410 at Jackson Keller's, a view from TransGuide that our friends got us. We did see some flashing lights out over there, but it does look like that crash has since cleared. To give you a little bit more of specifics where that crash occurred, Loop 410 eastbound right at Blanco. It wasn't impacting a lot of traffic, and it cleared rather quickly. In fact, in moments before we came up here, that crash was still out there, but thankfully things have since cleared. Now we're still keeping an eye here where this abandoned trailer has been left right off 281 northbound at Sprucewood Lane. Not impacting anybody's traffic right now, but we've seen that trailer is in the middle of the median and right next to 281 and right at that exit ramp. So be cautious if you're going to be heading out in that direction. But overall, it has been a relatively quiet morning, and we are watching the roads closely, but nothing major to report.
Mike's got a cool KSAT Connect picture.
Yeah, this is fantastic because today is the day of the full moon out there, and I love the caption there, hauntingly beautiful moonrise in Wilson County. That's very cool looking. You may see it if it's not quite set yet. Well, excuse me, we won't be able to see it, I beg your pardon, because we got a lot of clouds out there. So no, we're not going to be able to see the moon. We're going to be able to see it rise later on tonight, though. Yeah, cloud cover and very warm temperatures. Yesterday, everybody was well up into the mid-90s on average. Only one triple digit down there around Cotulla at 100. And remember, the previous day, we didn't see any triple digits, at least on this map. Now, today, there will be a couple of more. We're going to be in the upper 90s, some triple digits from Del Rio down toward Laredo, and going for 95 here in town. It's going to be mid-90s all around the metropolitan area, and that's just the thermometer reading. Humidity is still going to be sticking around enough, so we'll be up around the low hundreds, around about 105, give or take, and even higher than that, obviously, down to the southwest. No heat advisories in effect, but obviously you just got to take it easy when you're outside. All right, here's the water vapor imagery around the country, and two big things going on out to the west. First of all, this big trough out here, and then ahead of that, you got a trough. Next to it, you got to have area of high pressure, and that's what is just to the east of it, and that's why all these clouds are kind of coming up here to the north, and that's the thing that's sitting right on top of us, and that's why weather has not changed for the past couple of days and is not going to change the next couple of days. It suppresses really any showers. We did have a couple of showers yesterday just because of the moisture kind of streaming in, but you don't get anything to really try and develop around here. So that's the case through Friday and Saturday. Then it starts to work its way off to the west a little bit, and there are going to be disturbances kind of coming on in here. Not anything real big, but, you know, some little waves in the atmosphere, little glitches, if you will, and that's going to help out with a couple of rain chances starting by Sunday. We also have that big trough up to the north. A little unusual for this time of year to have this thing up here, so that's going to help to keep temperatures down. And then even going into the middle part of next week, again, we have this easterly flow coming in here off the Gulf, so any little wave, anything like that, can hopefully touch off a few showers, and there is the chance of rain maybe Sunday, but really then going into the middle of next week. And right now, after that, then another area of high pressure is going to sort of build on in there and kind of puts the lid on anything. So the window of opportunity for rain is basically going to be maybe on Sunday and then through about Wednesday of next week as it looks right now. 90 at noon today, partly cloudy skies. High temperature then makes it up to 95. And again, heat index right around 105, give or take. It's also going to be kind of breezy later on today. Wind out of the southeast to 15, 25 miles per hour, a little gusty at times. Kind of breezy tomorrow as well. Again, it's kind of like two separate forecasts here. First 3 days on this graphic are all the same. The last 3 days are pretty much all the same. 90 for the first part of next week. And because Wednesday? Yeah, last day of June.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
Cool
Yes,
side.
first is Thursday.
And hopefully a little bit of rain to finish up the month of June.
And a week from this Sunday, Independence Day.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Excited.
Summer's flying. Thank you, Mike. 5:53, about 78 degrees.
Let's take a look at our lotto numbers. Pick 3, 898, Fireball 3, Daily 4, 1978, Fireball 9.
Cash 5 numbers 19, 24, 27, 33, 35. Lotto Texas 5, 18, 23, 31, 35, 41. And Powerball 13, 20, 40, 51, 63. Powerball 1, Power Play 3. Good luck from everybody here at GMSA. After the break, we're keeping close eye on a massive partial building collapse near Miami, Florida. At least one person is dead. Apparently, a boy has been pulled out alive. Scores of rescue and fire vehicles, ambulances, and police cars have converged on the site. Piles of debris can be seen surrounding the area just outside the building. New details coming into our newsroom as rescue efforts continue now that the sun is up in the Miami metro area. More to come in our next hour. TransGuide right now. Let's see how things are looking out there. Traffic is flowing for the moment at 410 and Jackson Keller. We're going to check in with Stephen Cavazos, our traffic expert. And Mike has your Thursday forecast coming up right here on GMSA. 1 hour of news, weather, and traffic coming up next.
I have never seen so many ambulances and police in my life all at once. It looked like something from like 9/11, literally.
Now at 6, we're staying on top of late-breaking news in the Miami area. Right now, rescue crews searching for survivors following a partial building collapse overnight. We know at least one person is dead. We're tracking the latest, and we have reaction from people who saw this terrifying situation unfold.
Police are looking for a man who was trouble on wheels, a driver who got out and shot 2 men, killing one. I'm Katrina Weber. I'll have that story.
78 degrees at 6 a.m. this morning. It is muggy and hot out there. How hot will it get on this Thursday? Mike will let us know in just a bit.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And a good morning to you. It is Thursday. It is June 24th. And Sarah Coast is in for Steph the rest of the week. Good to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for starting your morning with us. Always good to be here during the week with you, gentlemen. I don't get to see you as much anymore.
Mike joins us now, and it's super humid out there again this morning. Any break in sight?
No, not in the humidity. It's going to be hot and humid later on this afternoon. We do get a break from the temperatures going into next week. Still going to put up with the same thing for the next couple of days. It's been, repeats the past few days, and it's just going to continue on. Starting with today, we are at 81 degrees right now. That's what it feels like. Same thing, Stinson, 84, Castroville, and 83 up the road at Canyon Lake. And we do have a lot of mold out there. That was yesterday's reading. The updated count's going to be coming out in about maybe hour and a half or so. And throughout the rest of today, temperatures will stay basically steady where they are right now. And you can almost add anywhere from, say, 15 to 20 degrees to the current temperature. That's what it will feel like later on today. So we'll be up to 90 today at noon. We're going to have these clouds this morning. They'll start to break up a little bit, and we'll have a lot more sunshine mixed in with some of the clouds later on today. And we top off at 95, although like the past couple of days, then add about 10 degrees to the high temperature, and that's what it's going to feel like with the heat index well up into the hundreds later on today. And same thing tomorrow, same thing on Saturday. Sunday, little bit of a break in temperatures. We start to see some transition, and then we go into next week, and it's looking kind of encouraging for lower temperatures and some rain chances. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Steve Cavazos. What's going on, sir?
Hey, thanks so much, Mike. Well, we want to bring everyone's attention to this trailer that is still out there at 221 at Sprucewood. This is a view from TransGuide. That trailer has been out there for quite a while. Looks like it was left over overnight and not creating any issues out on the roadways, but drivers that are heading down 281 north, be extra cautious there. This is where that trailer is located. Again, here in those northbound lanes at 281, right at Sprucewood Lane. Just again, be cautious. This has been out there for quite a while, so we just want everyone to be a little bit aware and make sure that they get to where they need to be safely. Let's go ahead and jump to some lane closures that you can expect. This one off 410 and the southwest side of San Antonio. The northbound lane is going to be closed from Flair Drive to Aldrich Drive from 8 this morning to 4 this afternoon. Now, what's going on there is that TxDOT is doing some sidewalk repairs. It's going to be going on until at least this Saturday, so it should be wrapping up pretty soon. But just if you're waking up this morning and plan on heading in this direction, just be prepared for that lane closure that we have there. Taking a look at our inbound times again here at Pleasanton. If you're driving into the downtown San Antonio area, well, things are looking pleasant. 28 minutes right now. Coming in from 35, we have 17 minutes. And on Highway 90, we have an 18-minute commute time. Let's go ahead and bring it here to TransGuide where that trailer is and flip it to our rotator where things are relatively smooth so far. Mark, Sarah?
Stephen, thank you. If you missed the top of the newscast, we're following a developing story out of South Florida where a building has partially collapsed.
We are learning that at least one person has died and several others have been taken to local hospitals. According to the Miami Beach Police Twitter account, multiple emergency agencies are on scene.
All right, some of those images still coming in now that the sun is up. At least 80 Miami-Dade fire rescue units responded to the scene. That building is a 12-story condominium located in Surfside. It was built in 1981 and has more than 100 units. At this moment, emergency crews confirming that several people are still trapped inside the rubble. This is a story we will continue to follow very closely throughout this newscast and throughout the day on KSAT and KSAT.com.
Well, back here at home, homicide investigators have their work cut out for them this morning, trying to find out who shot two men under a highway bridge, killing one of them. The shootings happened late last night near Interstate 35 in Southwest Military.
Katrina Weber is there with a live report. We understand that a stray bullet also hit a business in that area. Katrina.
Well, that's right. It went right through the window of this Denny's restaurant. You can still see the hole in the glass there from where the bullet hit. Luckily, no one was hit by it, but the restaurant is closed now. The investigation, though, still wide open. San Antonio police were called here to the underpass at I-35 and Southwest Military just after 11 last night. They found two men here who had been shot. One of them already was dead, according to police. The second one was rushed to a hospital in critical condition. Police say he told them they were walking under the bridge when someone pulled up in a white Jeep SUV, got out and started fighting with them. Then that person shot them both. The police are still trying to piece together whatever information they can. They do know that what they're looking for is a white Jeep SUV, but not sure how much they know beyond that. I did check with the medical examiner's office, and so far they have not identified the man who was killed. Reporting live on the south side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. A man is recovering in the hospital this morning after suffering severe injuries during a crash on the city's southwest side. It happened last night around 9:30 in the 8200 block of Great Spirit Drive near Old Pearsall Road. Police say a driver hit another car and a man who was standing outside of it. That man suffered major leg injuries. He was taken to the hospital. Investigators say speed may be a factor in this crash, and the driver could be facing an intoxication manslaughter charge.
Now, the latest this morning, Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar has fired one of his lieutenants who posted multiple photos on Facebook showing her near the U.S. Capitol during the January 6th insurrection. 46-year-old Roxanne Mathai was given an order of dismissal 5 months after Salazar said he intended to never have her set foot in a BCSO building ever again. In the photos, Mathai was shown walking and says she was headed to the Capitol after listening to President Trump's speech during the Save America March. Mathai also posted a picture showing rioters after they'd broken through a police line and occupied the balcony of the Capitol. Mathai's attorney says he would release a statement regarding her termination later today.
Well, the Autism Treatment Center is hosting a sensory-friendly COVID-19 vaccine drive-through clinic next month. They will be offering the Pfizer vaccine for everyone who is 12 years and older with autism or related conditions, as well as their caregivers. Deaf interpreter services for anyone who is deaf or hard of hearing will also be provided.
One of the barriers for people with disabilities to get the vaccine is that they're not able to go somewhere that can accommodate their needs. We're going to make sure that it's focused on what makes them comfortable to come and get the vaccine.
In order to get the vaccine, you need to register at atcoftexas.org by July 5th. The appointment will be on July 7th. From 4 to 7 p.m. at the Autism Treatment Center located at 15911 Nacogdoches Road. After you registered, you will be assigned a time slot and receive instructions on what to expect when you arrive. You will also get a time slot for the second vaccine on July 28th.
Happening today are Mayor Ron Nirenberg and officials with the Consulate of Canada in Texas and the Consulate of Mexico in San Antonio will be gathering to commemorate the opening of the North American Friendship Garden. It is designed to give a sanctuary for monarch butterflies during their migration. It's opening at 9:30 this morning at Confluence Park. Officials with the San Antonio River Authority and the San Antonio River Foundation at Confluence Park will also be in attendance.
And check this out, a drought in the West is sparking Wildfires and bringing a plague of grasshoppers with it. Federal agricultural officials are launching the most massive grasshopper killing campaign since the 1980s. All these grasshoppers have been a nightmare for ranchers as they fear the outbreak will strip the rangeland. You can read more about this story right now on KSAT.com.
6:08, about 78 degrees.
Well, Bachelor fans, watch out. Netflix just released a trailer for a new dating show with people wearing some animal costumes. We have the details ahead.
The whole thing is just weird.
Yeah.
The Olympic roster for U.S. men's basketball is set. We'll tell you who's on the list and if any of our Spurs made it.
78 degrees at 6:09 this morning. Hot and humid out there. How long will this forecast last for? And will we have rain in our future? Mike will let us know when we come back.
Introducing your 2021 Fiesta Royalty, powered by your local San Antonio area Chevy dealers.
Hi, I'm Gabrielle Uribe, la reina de la Feria de las Flores. Viva Fiesta!
Meet this year's Reina de la Feria de las Flores.
I was born and raised in San Antonio. I graduated from Incarnate Word High School in 2015 and then decided to continue my education at Texas Christian University in Fort Worth, Texas.
As Reina, she understands the important message of Fiesta.
I think the Party with a Purpose memo of Fiesta is incredible. It's all these different people coming together to raise funds for our community. And then we basically have a huge celebration at the end to celebrate the success for our community.
For her, it's also about working with the kids in the community and spreading a positive message.
I have a passion for working with children and getting to devote my time to the young people in my community.
She also loves athletics and working out, which may come in handy because of her new hobby.
I've kind of found myself experimenting with a lot of cooking recently, so a lot of at-home recipes are happening at my place.
Just about 6:14, time for a look at morning sports while we wait to hear more about Becky Hammon. Another product of the Spurs organization is getting his shot as head coach in the NBA. Ime Udoka has been hired by the Boston Celtics as their new head coach. It's according to the Associated Press. Udoka spent 7 years on staff with Greg Popovich here in San Antonio, including the 2013-14 season when they got back to the NBA Finals and won the fifth NBA title. After his stint with the Spurs and an NBA championship ring, Udoka joined the Philadelphia 76ers staff in 2019. And this past season, he was on the Brooklyn Nets staff. He replaces Brad Stevens, who moved up in the Celtics front office. The roster is now set for the UN's men's basketball team now that Spurs head coach Greg Popovich is leading that team into Tokyo this summer. Unfortunately, it does not include any Spurs after Derek White had injured his ankle last April against the Washington Wizards and missed the rest of the season. Also does not include James Harden, who had to withdraw because of a hamstring injury. Does include his Nets teammate Kevin Durant, who will go for his third gold medal and is now the only returning member of the 2016 squad that won gold at the Olympics down in Rio. As you can see, there are plenty of other big names to help Pop in his first Olympics as head coach of Team USA. To the minor leagues now. Frustrating night in Frisco for our San Antonio Missions. After leading 8-3 in the eighth, the Missions bullpen allowed 7 runs in the final 2 innings. Game ended in a Rough Rider walk-off victory. Final score 10-9. Missions have now lost 7 of the last 8 they have played against Frisco this season. And that's a look at morning sports.
All right, we're going to check in with Stephen Cavazos on your morning commute. Stephen, I just learned your favorite breakfast taco: chorizo, egg, cheese, and beans.
Well, we threw in the cheese in there. I'm lactose intolerant, but I do like a good Mexican Coke with it too. I think that's a really good addition. I mean, that's like the great breakfast. Shout out to Mom. Let's go ahead and take a look at our roads here. The view from 281 at Basse shows that things are picking up. It's been a relatively quiet morning so far here in the Alamo City and our outlying areas, but we want to bring your attention to our friends over here in Seguin, where there's a stalled vehicle out there at I-10 eastbound right at State Highway 46. Now, it's not impacting anyone's commute as people are getting out on the roadways this morning, but be on the lookout for that and give that person plenty of room so they can get to where they need to be safely. Let's go ahead and jump right all the way back over here to 281 northbound. Now, I just checked TransGuide right now. We still have that abandoned trailer. It's been a few hours now, right in those northbound lanes, heading out towards Sprucewood Lane. If you're driving in that area, you'll find that trailer right in the median between 281 and the exit ramp to Sprucewood. So just be extra cautious out there because that trailer is quite big and you want to be a little extra cautious again heading in that direction. But let's go ahead and look at some lane closures that we can expect this weekend. This one out Alamo Ranch Parkway. What they're going to be doing there is a placement of bridge beams. Now this is going to be a full closure, okay? So we can expect that happening at Westwood Loop intersection, and it's going to be from 10 in the evening to 5 in the morning. Should wrap up around the 28th of June. So it's not going to be too long there, but just something to be on the lookout for this weekend. But things are looking pretty good at Loop 1604 at Wiseman. We are watching the roads, and that trailer has not gone anywhere, guys.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to miss out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mike joins us now from the Weather Lab. Good morning.
Good morning. And yeah, step outside and boy, you think it's Wednesday or you think it's Tuesday maybe, but temperatures have stayed the same. We have the same weather pattern. You know, it's summer around here, but we do have kind of a change coming in by later on in the weekend. So 78 here in town, mid 70s parts of the hill country, and it's going to be pretty much the same thing throughout the day. Partly cloudy skies. We will have a heat index right around say 105, give or take. And rest of the week, tomorrow, Saturday, it's going to be hot. Then temperatures start to drop off just a little bit. We'll be lower 90s, and a couple of showers going to be possible, and averaging right around 90 degrees going in toward next week. Of course, today is the day for the big, beautiful full moon out there. An absolutely gorgeous picture. That is just spectacular. And this is, according to the Old Farmer's Almanac and all of the Native American Indian lore, the full strawberry moon. A couple of other names, the blooming moon, birth moon, and the one that they named when they were down here, the hot moon. Because, yeah, it is hot out there. All right, well, I was going to say a couple of breaks in the clouds, but I think it's just a lighter spot in the clouds out there looking off to the east. And nothing is showing up on radar right now. Of course, we did have, you know, one or two little sprinkly showers around yesterday morning. And if you run into a sprinkle this morning, don't be surprised just because of all that moisture that continues to get pumped in here from the Gulf of Mexico. And by the way, it is going to be a little breezier later on this afternoon. So around the country, a big storm system well up to the north of us, but notice how all of this is sort of moving in a clockwise direction. There's a big area of high pressure, and that's kind of keeping a dome on things, not allowing any rain to really pop up, nothing like that. Quick check of the tropics. After we had Tropical Storm Charlotte last week, there's a little bit of a disturbance here just off the just to the east of the Lesser Antilles that the Hurricane Center is watching right now. And then further off to the west, or further off to the east, beg your pardon, there is another little disturbance coming right off the coast of Africa that the Hurricane Center is watching right now. Both have very low chances of any development in the next 48 hours. And of course, we're early on in the season. Later on in the season, we're going to start to get that, you know, it's sort of a assembly line, if you will, and all those little waves that come off Africa and come across the intertropical convergence zone. And that's when we start to see more of those that move across the Atlantic later on in the season. 90 today at noon, partly cloudy skies. High temperature today, 95. Of course, still plenty of humidity out there. So, you know, we're looking at the hundreds, about 105, give or take. No heat advisories right now, but of course, you just got to take it easy when you're out there. It is going to be breezy again today, though. We'll be about 15, 25 mile per hour winds, some gusts on top of that. Same thing tomorrow, same thing on Saturday. Sunday, one or two extra clouds hanging around here, and a shower or two primarily off to the east, and then better rain chances going to move in here the first of the week, and we will have temperatures that will be right around 90 degrees.
Thank you, Mike. 620, about 78 degrees.
Well, next on GMSA, Mark will show you a few of the restaurants around town that got perfect scores on their health inspection in today's Best of Behind the Kitchen Door.
It's right over there. It's coming up.
Hey, it's me, your dry skin. I'm craving something we're missing, the ceramides in CeraVe. They help restore my natural barrier so I can lock in moisture. We've got to have each other's backs.
CeraVe, now the #1 dermatologist recommended skincare brand.
Dawn Antibacterial cuts through tough grease with 50% less scrubbing.
It also removes 99% of bacteria from your hands. Dawn Antibacterial. An easy way to clean your dishes, a smart way to wash your hands.
I don't just play someone brainy on TV. I'm an actual neuroscientist, and I love the science behind Nariva Plus. Unlike ordinary memory supplements, Nariva Plus fuels 6 key indicators of brain performance. More brain performance, yes please. Nariva, think bigger.
It's very common to have both sensitivity and gum issues. Dentists and hygienists will want to recommend Sensodyne sensitivity and gum. You get the sensitivity relief as well as improved gum health, all in one.
In this morning's GMA First Look, breaking her silence. Britney Spears standing up for herself in an explosive court hearing Wednesday, passionately telling a court she's been exploited, embarrassed, and demoralized by the people behind the conservatorship that's controlled her life and finances for the last 13 years, asking that it be terminated. The 39-year-old pleading with a judge, saying, "I just want my life back." She could be heard pounding her fists as she told the judge all she hears from her team is no, 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 saying she feels ganged up on, bullied, left out and alone. "I am tired of feeling alone. I deserve to have the same rights as anyone." So what could Spears' testimony mean for the future of her conservatorship? And what happens next? Legal analyst Dan Abrams weighs in live, coming up at 7 a.m. With your GMA First Look, I'm Kaylee Hartung, ABC News, Los Angeles.
It is time for Best of Behind the Kitchen Door. This is a very small sample of recent health inspections here in the San Antonio area. Let's take a look at some of those perfect scores, and congratulations to Bourbon Street Seafood Kitchen. They have several locations. This is the one out in the 22,000 block of I-10 West. We also have the Whataburger at 516 West Cypress, closer to KSAT. El Fire Taco House, 207 West Chavano. Moving along, we also have McDonald's at 4619 Riddiman Road on San Antonio's northeast side. And finally, Pizza Patron, 2913 West Avenue. If your place got a perfect score, send me an email, bkd@ksat.com. We will do our best to get them on the air right here on GMSA. And I'm off next week, so we'll have perfect scores resume in the month of July.
Good to see things are getting back to normal, Mark.
Agreed.
All right, Amazon's Prime Day results are in. The company says more than 250 million items were sold Monday and Tuesday. Amazon's Fire TV stick was the most popular item, but small businesses also thrived. Amazon says consumers bought nearly $2 billion in products from them. iPhone users are now able to share tweets directly to Instagram stories without having to take a screenshot. Twitter's new feature is simple. Users can tap on any tweet, then hit share, then tap on Instagram stories. And Netflix is releasing a dating show called, yes, Sexy Beasts. Contestants will be disguised in full Hollywood makeup prosthetics, hoping to find love based on personality, not looks. A featured single will choose one of the 3 potential matches, but they'll only see the person's face after making their pick.
The makeup is astounding. You and I were talking about the Scarecrow. I mean, does that guy really want to show up at a date going, if I only had a brain?
There he is. I don't know. I like the alien girl. He's cute.
Oh, that's crazy. Well, coming soon to Netflix. 627, about 78 degrees.
Well, firefighters just pulled a boy alive from the rubble after that massive building collapsed near Miami Beach. We continue to get more details into our newsroom. The latest developments next.
And TransGuide checking the roads right now. Stephen Cavazos is back with an update coming up at the bottom of the hour. We'll be right back.
So there's a third of the entire building that you cannot see from the street, but it's completely gone.
We are learning more details on that partial building collapse near Miami as emergency units continue with their rescue efforts. We have the latest.
Bullets fly here on the south side, hitting 2 men who were the targets. Another bullet hit this restaurant. I'm Katrina Weber. I'll tell you more about it.
And outside with Live Cam, there we are taking a live look at downtown San Antonio. Mike says the heat index is definitely going to be extreme as we head into the next couple of days. Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, the 24th.
Good morning. I'm filling in for Steph for the rest of the week. I'm so happy to be here. But it's hot. I actually feel like it's a little hot in the studio right here and at my house too. I just feel like you said it earlier. it's seeping in almost.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, with a lot of air conditioning systems, it's hard to keep up when we're up there, not only in the 90s, but then also with all that humidity that the air conditioning's got to get rid of too. So it's going to be up there. Heat index readings later on today are going to be up, not to the point extreme enough to where it warrants any sort of a heat advisory, but it is definitely going to be hot. And of course, we've got our clouds starting off this morning. Temperature is, feel like it's deja vu all over again. 78, dew point 74, same thing we had yesterday at this time. And the heat index right now, 81 Stinson, 84 in Castroville, and 81 up the road in New Braunfels. Mold is on the high side. That was from yesterday's reading, of course. The updated count's going to be coming out in, maybe about an hour or so. Warm and humid this morning, and then we'll have partly cloudy skies later on today. Heat index, again, about 105, give or take. A little bit higher, obviously, along the Rio Grande Valley. And the rest of the week, tomorrow, Saturday, staying hot. More of the same tomorrow, more of the same on Saturday. There could be, even a little sprinkle out there this morning just because of all the moisture being pumped on in here. Now we get into the rest of the weekend. Sunday, we are not going to be quite as hot by a degree or two, but we'll take anything. And also, we'll start to see a couple of showers, 1 or 2 possible on Sunday. A little bit better chance of rain going into next week to finish out the month of June, which is encouraging. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen Cavazos, had a few problems out there. Anything real big going on?
It's just a few stalls here and there, Mike. We've had a few abandonments in terms of vehicles and trailers. Right now, came in as an abandoned vehicle right off 90 at Military. This is a view from TransGuide. You can see that we have someone out there assisting this person. They've placed up the cones to give them plenty of room. Move over to the next lane, guys. These cars that are driving right here, what you want to do is just give them plenty of room. Even though we have those cones out, it's important that we give those folks, again, that room so they can get that area cleared out. Now, this came in at US 90 eastbound right at West Military Drive. We count it as an abandonment because that's what came in on the TxDOT website, but it looks like it just may be a stalled vehicle from that picture at TransGuide. Another abandoned trailer, actually, we have over here, still out there on 281 northbound right at Sprucewood Lane. Now that the sun's coming up, hopefully folks will be able to see that a little bit more clearly, but definitely keep both eyes and both hands on the wheel because this is right in the median between 281 and the exit at Sprucewood. So again, just be very cautious heading out in that direction. But right now our inbound times look pretty good, and that's a really good sign. Take a look right over here. Coming in from Bernie on I-10, we have 24 minutes to the downtown San Antonio area. And if you are coming in from Bulverde, we got 26 minutes and 35. In those southbound lanes, we're looking at 25 minutes right now. Let's go ahead and bring it back here to TransGuide one last time. The view at 90 at Military. Things are definitely picking up this morning. Mark, Sarah?
Thank you, Stephen. Let's get to our top story this morning out of Florida. The partial collapse of a condominium tower near Miami.
One person is dead and the search is on for survivors trapped in the rubble. And now in the daylight, new images are revealing the magnitude of all this damage.
ABC's Ike Ajachi is tracking the latest developments.
Good morning. The building partially collapsed earlier today with several people gathering outside. The search for residents continues. Breaking this morning, a building collapse in Miami, Florida.
Attention, low hazard building collapse, 88th Street, Collins Avenue.
The structure, a multi-story building which appears to be residential, located in the small beachside town of Surfside, about 6 miles north of Miami Beach. Take a look. You can see the backside of the building reduced to rubble. Witnesses gathering around the scene recalling the chaos.
The building shook, and then I looked out the window. When the dust cleared, there was the back half of the building, or back 2/3 of the building was gone. It's down to the ground.
The Miami-Dade Fire Rescue says more than 80 units were sent to the scene, their drones surveying the area. First responders on balconies checking for damage. People inside neighboring buildings were evacuated from their respective locations and brought to a nearby recreational center. Right now, first responders are on scene searching for anyone trapped inside the rubble. The investigation into what caused this building to collapse continues. Ike Ajachi, ABC News, Washington.
Quick, we want to recap. One person has been reported dead. A boy has reportedly been pulled alive. And as you were saying earlier, Sarah, authorities there, first responders are calling this a mass casualty incident.
Just keep it here on Air Online. We'll keep you updated.
Well, back here at home, San Antonio police say trouble for 2 men on the south side arrived in a Jeep. They say someone in that vehicle shot both of them, killing one.
Katrina Weber is live where it happened near I-35 in Southwest Military. Katrina, do police know why this happened?
Well, that's one of the things they're still trying to sort out, but they say that the survivor of that shooting told them that there was a fight just prior to that shooting. Now, when police arrived here just after 11 last night, that fight was over and there were 2 shooting victims. They say one of the men already was dead. The other was in critical condition as he left for a hospital. He told officers that he and the other victim were walking under the I-35 bridge at Southwest Military when someone in a white Jeep SUV pulled up and started fighting them. He says that person then shot both of them. The name of the man who was killed hasn't been released yet, and as far as we know, police have not found the shooter. Now, one thing they did find is a bullet hole in this restaurant, this Denny's restaurant. According to police, that is from a stray bullet that was fired during that shooting. The restaurant has been closed all morning, but just a little while ago we saw a worker go in, and it looks like they may be getting ready to open. As far as we know, no one was inside the restaurant, or no one was injured inside that restaurant during the shooting. Reporting live on the South Side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
It was a scary morning for a woman who crashed a car on the city's northwest side. Happened just after 3:30 this morning in the 4600 block of Medical Drive. Police say the woman was driving home when she fell asleep, jumped the median, and that caused the car to roll over. Officers tell us then the car caught fire. Luckily, she got out safely with no injuries. Firefighters were able to put out the fire quickly. In your morning headlines, police in Florida are searching for a man who shot a Daytona police officer in the head. Police say the officer was investigating a suspicious incident before he stopped responding on his radio. More officers were sent to the scene and found him on the ground with a gunshot wound to the head. He was taken to a local hospital in serious condition. Police are now looking for 29-year-old Othel Wallace. There is a $100,000 reward for information leading to his arrest.
Nearly all national forests in Arizona will be fully closed this week as fire danger remains high. Many people have been evacuated from their homes due to wildfires burning across Arizona. Several highways have also been closed, causing major traffic and detours. The closures are causing a shift on vacation plans for campers ahead of the 4th of July holiday.
Well, after months of pressure, Vice President Kamala Harris is finally expected to visit the U.S.-Mexico border tomorrow. She'll be visiting El Paso with Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Her visit to the border comes after members of both parties criticized her over failing to go sooner, despite her having the leading role in the administration's response to a steep increase in migration. The vice president has focused her efforts on improving economic and living conditions in the region. City's 4th of July celebration is back this year. San Antonio Parks and Rec has made the announcement yesterday. Exciting news here in the Alamo City. The free event is scheduled to be from 11 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. out there at Woodlawn Lake Park. Parks Foundation says there will be several local food trucks and vendors will be there. There will also be carnival games throughout the celebration. More information on what's happening that day, you can always go to KSAT.com.
Well, the Fiesta celebrations continue. If you haven't had a chance to enjoy NIOSA, don't worry, you still have a chance. NIOSA is still going on today and tomorrow. Right now on KSAT.com, you can find information on how to buy those tickets. We also have schedules for all the other Fiesta events happening. Just take a look on our homepage.
Just about 6:40, still 78 degrees.
In our Tejano Moments series, we dive into the legacy of Don Jose Antonio Navarro and how he became a Texas independence hero. That's next on GMSA.
Good morning, 6:43. Our Tejano Moments series is back, and this time we're focusing on heroes who fought and died for Texas freedom.
Tejanos are descendants of the first Spanish, Mexican, and indigenous families of the Texas frontier dating back to 1619.
Well, this morning, GMSA producer Rosalind Jimenez shares the legacy of Don Jose Antonio Navarro.
Much is known about the American immigrants from the East like Austin, Crockett, and Bowie, but there were many other heroes who risked their lives for a free Texas.
Texas was Tejas from 1690, and the Tejanos, the native Tejanos, had been here since that time.
Born here in San Antonio in 1795, Don Jose Antonio Navarro was a leading Mexican participant in the Texas Revolution. His father was a native of Corsica, and his mother was a descendant from a noble Spanish family. He was sent to school at an early age in Saltillo, New Spain. He returned after his father's death to help manage the family merchant and ranching businesses. Navarro focused more on the business side of things. He became a student of law and eventually found a passion for politics.
I think had an affinity for following in his father's footsteps and his other two brothers.
His experience in politics would be what helped him during the era of the Mexican Revolution, joining a Tejano movement to make Texas free from New Spain.
Prior to the 1813 revolution is that he's going to bring some fundamental experiences to understand how to maneuver in the state legislature, even the local government.
In the years following the 1813 revolution, Navarro developed a friendship with Stephen F. Austin, and his interest in colonizing Texas deepened. He supported Texas statehood in 1835 and embraced the idea of independence the following year. Along with his uncle Jose Francisco Ruiz and Lorenzo de Zavala, he became one of the 3 Mexican signers of the Texas Declaration of Independence. Roslyn Jimenez, KSAT 12 News.
And we are just diving into the history of Navarro's life as a Texas hero this Saturday on GMSA. We will be hearing how his political experience helped him become a state leader.
If you're interested in visiting Casa Navarro, the historic site on Laredo Street is opening back up Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Before you head out the door, we're going to check in with your traffic authorities. Stephen Cavazos, how are things looking out there, Stephen?
Hey, thank you so much, Mark. Sarah, well, we still have this stall out at 90 at Military. Check this out here. If we jump to the wall, we can show you how traffic is building up a little bit over there. Our friends at TransGuide did get us this shot. It does look like we have that stalled vehicle, and we do have some help that they're receiving right now with some cones placed to give them plenty of room. But taking a look at our map, this is actually off 90 eastbound at West Military. Now, TxDOT reported this as an abandoned vehicle, but looks like right now it may be a stalled vehicle and that they're working to get some assistance right now. So that's a good sign of progress. But we still have this trailer out there, guys, 281 northbound at Sprucewood Lane. It's been there throughout the morning for several hours now, not causing any real issues. But as we've told you, if you're waking up with us, heading out the door, both hands, both eyes on the wheel, because that trailer is there between 281 and Sprucewood. So just be cautious down there. We do have another stalled vehicle here off I-35 northbound at Brooklyn Lane. This one now causing a little bit of a delay there, but nothing too major right now. But of course, as we know, the morning picks up, more people head out on the doors. This could be an issue if you're heading in that direction. We'll be watching it closely, but other than that, we do have the stall at 90 at Military one last time that we're also keeping an eye on.
And I guess they give them a little bit of time to get that trailer out of the way. If not, a wrecker comes and moves it out of the way.
We'll be watching it on TransGuide.
Thank you, Stephen.
And Mike, you have a bad moon rising behind you?
The CCR.
Yeah, CCR.
Yeah. Great picture. Reminds me of Werewolf of London. Remember all those werewolf songs and moon songs were played in that? Kind of a, remember that?
Yeah, it was 80s?
Yeah, 80s, the early 80s. Anyway, we digress here. Beautiful picture, and we're not going to see any sunrises or moon sets this morning with all these clouds out here. However, just as the sun is going down, the moon is going to be coming up. So the sun's going to be in the west later on tonight. Moon's going to be off in the east coming up, and we should be able to see it pretty nice because we'll have more sunshine later on today. So first of all, water vapor imagery, and this is always kind of I was thinking of almost like an X-ray, if you will, of the atmosphere, because this doesn't necessarily show where the clouds are, but shows a lot of good movement. And as you can see, there's this big clockwise rotation around us, and that's where we've got the high pressure sitting on top of us, and that's pretty much putting the lid on anything. There may be, just because there's such a flow of moisture coming in from the Gulf, there may be a couple little sprinkles here and there, but otherwise fairly dry upstairs in the atmosphere. Nothing is showing up on satellite radar picture as of right now, and then you can see all this precipitation off to the west, again, taking that kind of clockwise rotation around the area in a big trough out there to the west of us. So here's what's going to be going on as far as computer models and rain chances. Really nothing today. I mean, a sprinkle or two off to the east in the morning hours is going to be possible today, tomorrow, maybe on Saturday. But today, tomorrow and Saturday are going to be just like today and like it was yesterday as well. Now we get into Sunday. There is a small chance for a couple of these showers around. They're going to be coming in here from the east. And again, this is kind of a broad brush type computer model, but one or two of them out there, and then better chances of rain move in on Monday as well as on Tuesday. We will start to see things sort of open up a little bit to get these little disturbances coming on in here to give us those rain chances. And also with the extra cloud cover around and some minor shifts in the atmosphere, temperatures will be dropping down a little bit. Today, though, it's going to be about what it was yesterday, 90 at noon. Partly cloudy skies, high temperature today up to 95. And of course, heat index is going to be hovering right around 105, give or take. And it's also going to be breezy today. We should have a pretty good breeze coming in here out of the southeast. And all it's just going to do is continue to pump all that humidity on in here. So tomorrow, same as today, same thing Saturday, Sunday. 1 or 2 showers possible off to the east primarily, and then a little bit better chance of rain coming in here first part of next week. The interesting thing is also that long-range forecast is pretty consistent with what it's been the past couple of days. That's always kind of an encouraging sign when models are really consistent day to day like that.
Well, I love that we're ending the month of June near 90 versus 100.
Versus 100 versus normal high, which is what, 93, 94 right now.
Kind of like how we started June with that rain, lower temperatures. I will embrace the rain for those lower temperatures any day.
I'm there with you.
Nope, nobody's arguing. not today, Sarah. 650, about 78 degrees.
Well, we're about to kick off a series I'm really excited about all summer. I'll be sharing. Now, this is not me. I'm not doing this. Mark, you're doing this series. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's so let's see here. Tomorrow, I will be sharing more about this. Going to take you inside an East Side tackle shop called Outdoor Alphas, and I'll show you what makes it so unique. It's a part of my brand new summer fishing series.
Not wait to see it, Mark. It looks a lot of fun. 78 degrees outside at 6:50. Looks hot and muggy out there. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back in just a bit.
In the news you need to know before you go, we're following that developing story out of South Florida where a building has partially collapsed.
At least one person has died and several others have been taken to local hospitals. At least 80 Miami-Dade fire rescue units responded to the scene.
Well, you're seeing these images now. That building, a 12-story condo in Surfside. It was built in 1981 and has more than 100 units. At this moment, emergency crews are still searching for anyone trapped in the rubble. It's a full story. We'll continue to follow closely on KSAT and KSAT.com all day right here.
San Antonio police say what started out as a fight here on the south side has ended in murder. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. One man was shot during that fight, another wounded, and a third bullet ended up in the front of this restaurant, hit the window right here on the Denny's at I-35 and Southwest Military. This happened about 11 last night. Police got the call. They did find the 2 shooting victims under the bridge at I-35 and Southwest Military. They say the man who survived told them that they were walking under the bridge when a white Jeep SUV pulled up. Someone got out and started fighting the 2 victims. That person also shot those 2 men and took off. The police have not found the shooter as far as we know. Again, all they told us is that he was in a white Jeep SUV. So far, they have not released the name of the man who was killed. Reporting from the south side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
6:55.
Stephen Cavazos, how are things looking out there with traffic?
Lots of stalls this morning, guys. Let's go ahead and get right to it. This is a view from TransGuide at 90 at Military. You can see that traffic's starting to build because of this stall. We do have some assistance that person is receiving out there, but that yellow indicates that we're starting to see a little bit of congestion off those eastbound lanes of 90 at West Military. Another big stall that we saw here had been out there all morning, 281 northbound at Sprucewood. Not impacting traffic that much, but something that drivers need to be aware of. And one last stall here at I-35 northbound at Brooklyn. Mike.
Thanks, sir. And we've got a lot of clouds, lots of humidity this morning. Temperatures are in the 70s, but it feels like about 3-4 degrees warmer than that. And we'll make it up to 95 later on today, but it will feel about 10 degrees or so warmer than that. It's going to be kind of breezy today as well. More of the same the next few days, and then hopefully some rain chances next week.
That does it for GMSA.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you back here at GMSA at 9.